Thank you for attending this Capital Magnet Fund Performance Report Completion Training. This module will cover economic development activities. We will begin our training from the landing or homepage of the Awards Management Information System, or AMIS. From here, we will click on the CMF Performance Report link and navigate to the applicable CMF Performance Report. If you do not see your performance report listed or need additional information to identify the correct performance report, click the Go button. You will now notice additional details such as the applicable award year. After clicking the performance report link, we will hover or click on the projects link to start creating our economic development activity project. After clicking the new project button, we will end up on the new project record page, select economic development activities from the record type dropdown and hit continue. We're brought to the new project record page to enter in a number of details on this investment. All fields with the red bar next to them indicate that the field is required. We'll provide a project name. For this case, being the demonstration, we will use EDA1, and the project type, it is an economic development activity. If necessary, you can indicate one of the other project types, such as loan loss reserve, risk-sharing loans, or loan guarantees. The financing associated with the CMF investment, primary financing type, most accurately described as construction financing, and our EDA type, we are developing a child care facility that will be 5,000 square feet. If information is available, you can indicate the number of construction jobs created or the number of non-construction jobs created. As a required field, you must indicate if other CDFI fund program funds are being used in this development. For this particular case, no. We also must indicate if there are federal sources of funding other than the Capital Magnet Fund. In this particular case, there is no other funding source, no other federal funding source. Moving along to the next required field, here in the CMF commitment, we will indicate the amount of the CMF award we're committing to this particular project. We will go ahead and use $250,000 of our CMF award towards this project, keeping in mind that no more than 30% of a CMF award can be used for economic development activities. Had program income been committed to this project rather than an initial deployment of the CMF award, that $250,000 would have been reported here in one of the commitment of program income fields. Next, we need to report eligible project costs. In the first set of fields, we are reporting on eligible project costs being paid for by recipient level leverage for our 2016, 17, and 18 CMF recipients. 2019 and 2020 recipients, we are reporting on enterprise level leverage. This particular award happens to be a 2017 CMF award, so we will use the recipient level leverage field, which constitutes the CMF investment, any program income, in addition to the enterprise level leverage, which is capital from the organization being used to pay for costs of this project, and that source is not tied to a specific project or development at the time it is raised or earned. For this development, our only source of recipient level leverage will be the Capital Magnet Fund investment, so we will report $250,000 here in the recipient level leverage field. For development, total eligible project cost will be $1 million. As indicated, $250,000 of that is coming from a CMF investment, So we will report $250,000 in the eligible project cost public dollars. Keeping in mind these are projected at this point. Actual cost will be reported on the annual report record for this project, which we will get to momentarily. So once again, of the $1 million in eligible project cost, $250,000 is being paid for by CMF, so we will report those as public dollars, and the remaining $750,000, those are coming from our private source. Our development is $1 million, and all of those costs are eligible, so we do not need to report any of the cost is non-eligible. Next, we will provide an address for the project. This particular development is at 925 Riverside Drive in Reno, Nevada. Here on the right, the project's location, XY coordinates, FIPS codes, those will be left blank. Same case for the next set of fields below. Moving along to the related housing address, there was a requirement with CMF economic development activities that they be proximate to affordable housing. If you have any questions about the proximate test, please reach out for technical assistance or review your CMF assistance agreement, the regs, or the CMF frequently asked questions. So the housing happens to be right next door to this child care facility at 927 Riverside Drive in Reno. Finally, before saving our new project record, you will notice a new project impact narrative field here. Optionally, you can provide a description of this project and the impact you intend that it will have on the community. After hitting save, we will await the confirmation message indicating that the record was successfully saved. Now that we have created our project record, we need to create an annual report for this project before we are able to submit the performance report. Annual reports will be created every year for this project, providing the most current status as of the end of the reporting period or the recipient's fiscal year end. From the CMF project annual reports link, you can hover or click and then create new annual report. For this particular project, there are no prior annual reports, so a blank edit page will appear. However, if there were previous annual reports, clicking that button would clone the most recent annual report for that project and bring it up here on the edit page for you to edit any details as necessary. So as the end of the recipient's fiscal year, this project was complete. Because of that, we will indicate that it is in the affordability period, and we will fill in all associated dates. Next, we will indicate in the use of CMF award section that the funds were dispersed to this project. On the project record, we committed $250,000 of the CMF award to the project. Now here on the annual report, we will indicate that that $250,000 was dispersed. Had program income been committed to the project rather than an initial deployment of the CMF award, we would report that disbursement here in the program income section. Next, of our $250,000 disbursement, we will provide some additional details on the investment, indicating that it was debt. The interest rate was 5%. And a new field starting this year is origination fee. Here you will report the origination fee associated with the CMF loan, if one was charged. For this particular case, it was a $500 origination fee. For this investment, a short-term construction loan was made. So not only were the funds dispersed during this particular reporting year, but we also were repaid that $250,000 investment. So we will indicate that the $250,000 was repaid. Here in the program income earned, equity loan repayment, and optionally, if any interest was earned, those earnings could be reported here. Recipients are still required to track program income in the form of interest made on CMF investments. However, the CDFI fund is not requiring that information be reported on annually. If you intend on making an investment, a CMF investment, with those program income interest dollars, you will need to report earning of that program income interest so that it can be reported as invested into another project. Moving along to the eligible project cost fields, on the project record, we entered our projected eligible project costs. Now here on the annual report, we will indicate what the final costs were. Turns out our final costs came in just as projected at $1 million. $250,000 of that was a public source, our capital magnet fund investment, and the remaining $750,000 came from private sources, making up $1 million in total eligible project cost. The $250,000 will also be reported as recipient level leverage. We're working with a 2017 award here, so 16 through 18 awards will use the recipient level leverage field. 2019 and 2020 CMF recipients will use the enterprise level leverage field. There was no enterprise level leverage associated with this investment, and we're a 2017 recipient, so we will leave that field blank. After hitting save, we will wait for confirmation that the annual report was successfully created. And finally, if we return to the project record, we will see performance indicators of all the information we've reported on that project to date. So here we have the project dates. We can see that we've committed $250,000 and also dispersed $250,000. Additionally, we've earned $250,000 in program income. Here in the eligible project cost section, we can see our $1 million in projected eligible project cost, and then our actual or final eligible project cost also of $1 million. It should be noted with the project address, it does take about 24 hours for the project to be geocoded within the system. You can see here in the new geocoding status field, the project has a geocoding status of scheduled. Until that geocoding process runs, the system will not be aware that the project is in your approved service area, and additionally, we will not know if the project is in a low income area as required for EDA. It is recommended that you check back on the project address approximately 24 hours of the next business day after entering that address to ensure it is successfully geocoded. If there is an error, you will notice a message here that generally will provide some additional information as to what went wrong, perhaps an invalid zip code, city, or state. We will return to our performance report. If we look at our projects list here, we can see that an annual report has been created for all of our projects, including the economic development activity we just created. With that being said, we can generate our scorecard, which will provide a high-level overview of any non-compliances. You can see for this particular organization, a non-compliance popped up because no the organization was not approved for economic development activities, but we just reported on one. Prior to submitting the report, all non-compliance explanation fields must be filled out if there are any present, and then the report can be submitted. Once the report is submitted, it will be locked until reviewed and approved by the CDFI fund. Once approved, the annual report will roll over to the next reporting year so that information for the current reporting period can be provided. You can see we are currently in reporting year 2020, so when submitted, reviewed, and approved by the CDFI fund, the system will automatically roll over to reporting year 2021. If you have any questions or need technical assistance, the service request feature in AMIS is the best way to reach out to the CDFI fund. If you do not see the service request link or tab here on your AMIS ribbon, click the down arrow and you will likely see it in this list. From the service request tab, you will create new service request. For the program, select Capital Magnet Fund. Select the CMF award by using the magnify and search glass. For the status and service request origin fields, you can leave those as they exist. Proceed to setting a priority of low, medium, or high for this request. Indicate a subject and detailed description, and then submit. If you have additional questions or need more information, on the CDFI Fund's website, on the Capital Magnet Fund page under Step 5 for compliance reporting, you will find a comprehensive reporting manual that will provide step-by-step instructions for CMF reporting. As mentioned, the service request feature through AMIS is the best way to reach out to the CDFI Fund. However, you can also reach out to the CDFI Fund through one of the phone numbers or email addresses listed at the bottom of your screen.